Hello everyone, welcome to another tutorial. My name is William. In this tutorial we are going to look at Laravel pipelines. In Laravel, pipelines are used to process an input through a series of stages, each of which performs a specific operations on the input data. The output of one stage is passed to the next stage and so on until the final stage is reached. Pipelines are often used in Laravel for tasks such as data validation, data filtering, data transformation. They are useful for processing complex business logic that involves multiple steps. We are going to look at a very simple example of the implementation of Laravel pipelines, and this is just to make our tutorial very small and in this case easy to understand, but I'm going to do a simple manipulation of a string, and then we are going to just learn the various things that you can be able to do here and there, and then we will be able to finish like that, and you can be able to apply in your application. So I would like to just do something on web.php in the routes folder here. So this is where I'm going to just put my code. In this case, probably if you are working on a complex business logic, probably you have some of these things in a controller, and then you'll be able to create classes. But for the first example, I'm not going to create any class. I'm going to put everything here, and we are going to use closures to just be able to manipulate whatever it is that I have. So we are going to have a route, and we are going to have it as a get route. And in this case, I'm going to call it pipeline test, like that. And then, of course, function. And then inside here, we are going to just have it like that. So inside this function for the route, we are going to manipulate some data. And in this case, I want to just have a a variable called my text, which we are going to manipulate. So I'm going to just use the pipeline, and before we do that, we have to import pipeline up here. So let me just do that. So we can say use illuminate facades, support facades, and then in this case pipeline, and then after that then we can use it here. So we can say pipeline, and the first thing that we do, we send. So pipeline send, and in this case what we are sending is our data. So in this case, the data that I'm passing through is just the word hello world. So in this case, you can be able to also send an array of values here, or maybe a variable that has stored some values. But in this case, we're just going to send text. So hello world, and then we are going to manipulate it. So then you are going to have we are going to send it through. So here is where we have our pipes, so through, like that. And then now inside here it accepts an array of values, so we can send this data through various pipes. And here I'm going to just use closure. So we are going to have function. So this is the first one. Let me just space such that it's very readable. So function, and then maybe whatever it is that you have passed in, of course, is a string, and let me call it greeting. So I'm sort of using a different variable from my text such that we will be able to output it in the end. And then we will also be using a closure, and then we will have next. As you can see, this is very similar to what we usually have in middlewares. So the first thing I want to do is to manipulate what we have in greeting. And actually what is being passed in greeting is actually hello world. So this is what we have here. So greeting, and I want to modify, and I want to, as you can see here, we have the small letters and small letters for the word hello, the first letter, and then the world, also the first letter. I want to just transform it into a capital letter for hello. So in other words, capitalize each word. And in Laravel, we can be able to use the str helper, and you just say str title, and this we actually be able to manipulate our greeting and be able to give it to us in a manipulated way, in this case as hello capital letter for H, and then world capital letter for world. And then we go ahead and now after we have done that, we are going to say return next, and then we are going to pass in a variable greeting again to the next pipe. So in this case, we have performed some manipulation here, and then now we are going to pass it to the next stage where we are going to do something else. And in this case, I would like to just go ahead and just copy what we have here. I'm just going to copy everything that we have here, because whatever it is that I'm going to do is also similar, but now I will modify some of the things that you're going to have. So you have a comma. In this case, that will be our first pipe for per se. And then in the next one, we will be doing maybe addition of an exclamation mark. So in this case, I will remove this and just say greeting. And we are concatenating with an exclamation mark, just like that. So eventually, whatever it is, this new greeting now will be hello world, but it will be having an exclamation mark at the end. So that is what we are passing it to the next pipe. And then of course in the next pipe, I would like to change the greeting now, because we have in the greeting we have hello world, and I want to change the word world to maybe my name. I can change it to William. So that is what I would like to do here. So let me just modify here, and we are just going again to use the str helper, and here we are going to replace. So let me just delete this. So you're going to say str replace the word world, and of course it is the one that is there is actually capitalized, world, and I want to replace it with William, with the word William. And where we are checking to do the replacement is actually in our whatever it is that is stored in greetings. So you check in greeting and find the word world and replace it with William, like that. And then that will be everything about it. And then now, after we are done with through, so because when we put, when we say through, then these ones are pipes. Then after that, we can be able to say then. So here we can say, we can chain and say then. And then now what in this case we are going to do is sort of like just spit out whatever it is that we have. So we can have a function, and whatever it is that we are having is a string again, that is the data type. And the string is stored in the variable greeting. Obviously, we are going to set it to greeting, like that. And then afterwards, we are just going to do what? To echo my text, or in other words, dd my text, like that, and see if we are actually going to have hello William. And as you can see, we seem to have a problem. Yes, because I didn't put a comma here. Yes, Yes, I think that one is so corrected. So let us go ahead and see, because my Laravel application is already running. So let's go ahead and see what we can be able to do if this manipulation is actually happening. So I want us to just have localhost 8000. As you can see, our application, I think, will be running. It's taking a while. I do not know why. Let me press enter one more time. Yes, our Laravel application is running. So I want us to visit our method. So in this case, we have called it pipeline test. So I will copy this, and maybe we can just have it like that. So you copy it and just have it here, pipeline test, like that, and paste it. It's loading, and you can see it says pipeline class pipeline not found. So let me just check again how I have been able to import, because I think that is where we have an issue. Yes, I can see I have mistyped something here. I've written actually my own things, pipeline, like that, and I think that's the reason why we were having the error. So let us go ahead and refresh again, and you can see we have hello William. So in this case, we have been able to manipulate the word hello world through several pipes. The first pipe, we have been able to just capitalize the words, each word, and then afterwards we have been able to add the exclamation mark. We've been able to add the exclamation mark, and then finally we have been able to replace world with William. So eventually we have hello William, something of that sort. I believe that is understandable. I would like to just be able to do a little bit more, because in this case you cannot be able to actually use it in a web.php. For example, this code, probably you will have it in a controller, but you can also, each pipe can also be transformed into a pipe class. So I want us to do another thing which is very similar to what I've just done there, but now in this case we are going to involve the same code, but we are going to involve the pipeline classes. So in this case it will help you. I will just do it in the web.php, but in this case, of course, putting that code in the controller is not very difficult, but then it will give you an idea of how now you can be able to do it in your application, because you can't do it exactly like this. So let us see what we are going to do. So I'm going to create another route, and we are going to have it as a pipeline test 2. So we're going to say route get, in this case, pipeline test, pipeline test 2. So similar to the first one, and we are also going to have a function like that, and inside here we are going to have our data. So here I want us to actually be able to go and create some pipes elsewhere, and then we are going to use them. So let us go ahead and do it. In this case, I will still do the same thing. We can be able to have again my text like that, and then which is going to use pipeline. I've typed it wrongly. Yes, pipeline. And then here we are still going to pass the same text. So send. The text is a hello world. And then after that we are going to send it through, in this case now. So you chain it, and we say through, through, and then inside here I'm going to put pipes which I haven't created. So the first one I'm going to say up, where we are going to create it. So we are just sort of like looking in the specific folders. We are going to create a folder called pipes. Eventually I will do that. And then the first one, I'm going to call it title. So you have a class which you call title, which you do some manipulation. And then we will have, let me just copy these ones. And then the next one, I'm going to call it punctuate, because we are doing some punctuation to this code to achieve the same thing. So punctuate. And then the third one, maybe replace, like that. So I'm going to create in app pipes, I'm going to create 3 classes, that is title, punctuate, and replace. So that is what I'm going to do right now. And then of course, let me just finish this code such that when I go to create, then every other thing will be fine. So here I can still say then we can chain then then the same way we did in the first one. So function, and what we're having is a string, and what we are calling is greeting. And yes, so like that. Just yes, like that. And then we set it to greeting. And then at the end of everything, we are going to say return my text, or maybe dd my text, whatever it is, my text, like that. So as you can see, there is fundamentally very few differences between the code that you're having here previously and what we're having here. And of course, we can also be able to just namespace this app pipes up there and be able to just use them like that. But now let me go ahead and create those a new folder. So the first one is new folder, and I'm going to call it pipes, like that. And then inside pipes, I'm going to have 3 classes. So new file, the first one, I'm going to call it title.php. title.php. The next one, I'm going to call it new file, I'm going to call it replace.php. I think that is what we have, .php. And then the third one, I'm going to call it is it punctuate or punctuation? Let me see. Punctuate, yes. So the third one, I'm going to call it punctuate. Punctuate.php. New file, punctuate.php. I hope my spellings are okay. And inside here, inside the punctuate.php, I just want us to have the PHP tag, just like that. And we are just going to namespace. We're going to namespace up and pipes, just that. And then we are going to have a class. In this case, our class is punctuate, and we are going to have it like that. Inside this class, we are going to have a handle method, and we will pass in a string of what in this case we are calling greeting. I'm trying to do something similar to whatever it is that we have done with a previous example, such that it can be able to assist us. Then we can have closure, and next, like that. And then inside here, we are going to have the curly braces, and if it is punctuation, we are just changing greeting and we are just adding the exclamation mark. So in this case, greeting, concatenating with the exclamation mark, like that. That is the only manipulation that we are doing, and then we are going to go to the next request. So return next greeting. In this case, we pass it to the next pipe, or maybe depending with how we have it. So I think this will be what you have here in punctuate, and because whatever it is that you are doing is very similar, I would like to copy everything that we have here, and I'm going to paste in the other files. So I'm going to copy, and I want to paste it in title.php, and here we are going to change the class name to title, and we are also going to change whatever it is that is happening here. Actually, here we have said we are going to just use the str helper and title. So in this case, to just capitalize each word, and then what we are manipulating is actually whatever is being passed in the variable greeting. And I believe I have typed it properly. So that is what will happen here. And I will save. I also want to go to replace, and I will also paste this same code, and here the class is replace, and inside here I'm going to do what were we doing? We were replacing a word in greeting. So in this case we are going to have str replace, I believe, str replace, and then what we are replacing is world, and we are replacing world with the name William, and we are replacing in whatever it is that is being passed in the variable greeting, like that. And I think everything seems to be fine. Everything seems to be fine. So now I will go back to web.php and just mention something. So these pipes are going to be processed in this order. So if you are working with data that has to be processed in a specific order, then you have to arrange your classes, your pipe classes in that specific order, because they will be processed sequentially from one sequence. I mean, from the first one to the second one to the third one, like that. So I would like to just also attempt and visit pipeline test 2 and see what happens, if everything is okay, or if we can be able to manipulate that data. And obviously I'm using a very simple example for purposes of just making you understand. But in this case, if you are working with it, then you will have to maybe do it, whatever it is that you'll be doing will be a little bit complex. It says pipes str not found. So in this case, there is somewhere, and this is a title. In title, we have not imported str. So here I will say use str, and then we save. And also I think in punctuate we are not using the str. In replace, yes, also in replace we will also say use str. And why we are saying that is because of this, because we are using this helper here. So again, I want us to check again and see. So when we refresh, it says undefined variable greeting. Undefined variable greeting. Let me just check, because I think there must be something that has been mistyped somewhere. Let me just check. You can see here I typed greeting a little bit long, so I do not know. Probably that is the reason why we're having an error. Let me check again. So we will refresh, and define that variable greeting. Yes, now I think it has been propagated everywhere because we copied and pasted. So you can see also this one is 3 E's. And also I want to check punctuation. We also have 3 E's. My bad. So after that, then I have corrected all of them. I think I have saved. Yes, for all of them. So when I again click there, you can see hello William. Thank you very much for following this tutorial up until this point. And what we have actually been able to note is that pipelines can actually be able to assist us to do to be able to process code that actually comes about sequentially. And I do not know if it's a case of over engineering or whatever, but I believe Laravel also uses pipelines, especially if you look at middlewares. You find something similar to what we have actually been doing in this tutorial. Thank you very much for following this tutorial video up until this point. I ask that if you have not subscribed, that you may subscribe, and you can also like the video if it's a video that you think has been a helpful video, and you can also comment, and you can also do any other thing to be able to just